Hey, good evening traders. Welcome to the 9th of March market overview and what trades we've taken today, which has been an incredible day for trading, but also what could be on the cards for tomorrow. Hopefully those members caught the EUR Reversal that we spoke about earlier in the week. Now let's take a look at what's happening with gold. So we're on the weekly chart right now. I just want you to see that this previous spike high back in, what was it, August of last year, the market's come right into it this week, tested it pretty much to the dollar, and then we've seen a very strong rejection of that today. Now, the question is, where are we going to go from here? Yes, right now, we're only Wednesday, but it is a strong bearish, currently bearish rejection candle of a previous all-time high. Now, a break of this week's low, if the candle closes anything like this, we've got to remember there's still 2 days left of this week, so the market could finish somewhere up here or it could finish somewhere down here. So we can't rely on this one weekly candle because it's still live. But what we can do is look at it on a smaller time frame. Now, a couple of key price points to bear in mind will be this wick high here, which is around 1960. You can see, just if I just bring in the cursor here, you can see that wick high and those wicks in here, and a lot of rejection through here. We had a wick rejection here on the weekly chart. So it was around 1960 to 1963, somewhere in that region, and it's the current low of this week's candle. So if we then drop down to the daily chart, we can see that we've got a nice twin towers, or you put those two candles together there, you end up with a shooting star, especially at resistance, so it would point to further downside. But after a $65 drop in one day, it usually has maybe a little period of consolidation, so we might see something going sideways, we might even have a little bit of a retracement before we then continue the move south. One thing to watch out for will be this trend line, to potentially look for confirmation that the market is breaking down even further. So we might see price push into this area here, have a little bit bias step back in, try and push it. We have then a nice little corrective pattern to trade on the break of that trend line. And ultimately we could be looking to see the market come back down in towards those 1800s. But this is for those that are looking to trade on a longer time frame. Intraday traders, you're still going to use these key structure points to trade from, but you're going to look at more of a detailed picture of what's happening on the lower time frame to see if you can see these early warning signs that the market is about to turn. So looking at gold, like I say, I would be looking for potential more downside, but expect maybe bias to step back in or some profit taken at 1960 to 57. See price have a little correction, and then on any break of this trend line, I'll be looking to sell more downside on gold. Well, moving over to the euro, we did a nice long video for our members and our community about how price is likely to reverse off this long-term trend line. Now, it's a 5-year chart, so this 5-year chart, when we look at this trend line, it's obviously going to pay some dividend to how traders are going to look at the market. And you can see we highlighted it here. I also highlighted, would pandemic lows be tested again, or are we likely to see a key reversal off the trend line? You can see the market came into it, tapped it, and literally it's just been like a complete springboard. Now, I would expect at around 1.11, maybe up to 1.13, we could potentially see this strong pressure of buying ease up a little bit. We see a deeper retracement, maybe come back down to 1.0950. Which is this little horizontal. We can see that's played a little bit of structure in the past. We can see these tests over here. So we might see price run up into this blue zone. We see a little bit of a sell-off, and then if we are going to see a new trend and euro buyers step back in, it's got to form a higher low. So that would be what I'd be looking for. Now, dropping down to the daily chart, what do we see? Well, yes, we've got a nice morning star formation, but looking at the blue zone, we can see we've got some nice structure coming in here, coming in here. So price to run up into here, look to see if we're going to roll over, see some consolidation, roll over, form a higher low, and then potentially move to the upside. Or we're going to get here, we're going to blast straight through it, maybe come up to 1.14, and then we can get that higher low somewhere in there. But if we are going to see this on the daily chart, you'll probably find that it gets a nice little retest of this level on a smaller time frame before we get long and continue up towards that 1.14. Now, when we did send videos out to our members and we did highlight EUR Reversal, you know, we highlighted that there was a couple of charts to watch out for. Euro Swiss was one, Euro Aussie was another. This is one of the trades that we sent out today, and you know, technically speaking, there was not a lot happening down where we currently sit, but what we did have, you know, you go down to the weekly chart, you can see there wasn't really anything happening, but what we can see is price could potentially push up into that 153.90 where we've got some nice structure. Euro Yen is doing something similar where there's a bit of structure. Euro USD's got some nice structures, which is why I think we could see a bit of the bit of taking profit should come in around these levels, or like I say, we're going to blast straight through it. So what was the trade and how do we get involved in it? Well, you'll see right now, if I drop down to the 1 hour chart, this was the trade that we sent out to our members. Now, what did we highlight? We highlighted at the beginning of the week that Euro was the weakest currency. We highlighted that Aussie was the strongest currency, and therefore there's a potential when we put those two charts together, Euro Aussie, that there could be a reversal. And then when we coupled that by looking at the Euro dollar and the Aussie dollar as a chart each, Euro USD, as I just showed you, was at a five-year trend line. And if I just run up to the Aussie dollar quickly, I'll come back to the Euro Aussie. Aussie dollar came into a nice point of confluence, which is what we saw here. I'll just zoom back out so you can see it in more detail. We've got a lovely 3 touches on the descending trend line. We've got the first touch, second touch, forecasting the third. The market popped through it and then rejected and came back down. Now on this ascending trend line, we've got 1, 2, 3, and then this being the fourth. So if we think about it, we've got Euro dollar at support, Aussie dollar at resistance. If they're both going to reject, then why would you just buy Euro dollar, or why would you sell Aussie dollar? The better chart to trade would be Euro Aussie long. So then it's looking for those opportunities to get long, and where would you do it? So Euro Aussie printed a lovely trend continuation move today on the smaller time frame. So when we look at this, let's just zoom into it. We've got a nice impulsive move coming here. We've got a change in cyclical pattern. We've got our first higher low down here, and we've got higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Market runs into here. Then we've got this nice flag formation being created, and all we're looking for is a break above the counter trend line. We get in, stops nice and tight because it is a breakout trade. If it's going to go, we should see it really go, and that's exactly what happened. A nice 3-to-1 trade that happened in, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, call it 5 hours. It was a little bit less, but thank you very much. And that is the art of trading with momentum and looking for the strong and weak currencies and putting them together. Euro dollar also offered a very nice opportunity today on the 1 hour chart, which hopefully some of you will have caught, but again, it's looking for the key areas. We've got price rejecting this area here. We've got resistance, price broke through it. We had our first close above, it carried on continuing, we came down, we got a nice hammer candle off support, and then off we've gone. Fantastic. A lovely, again, another 3-to-1 trade there for those traders that took it. Still a little bit more room to go on this up into the resistance area, but then we'll be looking to see if price will fail here, and you know, whether it's double top, looking for that next lower high to then trade, or you might find that price runs up and gives us some kind of ascending channel like this, where we can see that the market is doing that, pop through the level, and then we'll look to trade on the break back down below. So we're looking for all these different kind of corrective patterns to be formed at key resistance areas. So we've looked at Euro Aussie, we've looked at Euro dollar. Euro Aussie could potentially come into an area around 154 for a potential short. If we look at Euro Yen, so just going up to the daily time frame, Euro Yen popped out of its range, and you can see today it's come back within its range. Now it doesn't mean that the market is going to continue to move higher. What we could see tomorrow is it could break down and we could get retest and it drop lower, this being a false break of the support zone now acting as resistance. However, based on the fact that we've got a lot of risk on sentiment, so that means we're seeing indexes rallying significantly. We look at the NASDAQ today up, what, 3.5%, the Dow Jones up around 2%, the S&P just under 3%. you know, that's going to put a lot of stress on selling the safe havens, US dollar, Japanese yen. So I would suggest that if we're going to continue to see the markets move in a risk on factor, then looking to sell the yen pairs is going to be fantastic. So when I say sell the yen pairs, I mean sell Japanese yen. So that's buy anything against the Japanese yen. The preferential market in a typical risk on environment would be Aussie yen, but right now the momentum is with euro because it's been so battered that euro yen could be a really nice area to get long from, that 127.50 area. And you know, running it up towards 132.50s. One thing to watch out for in terms of a technical perspective will be this descending trend line. I can just see in here it is a very aggressive trend line. We see prices pretty much come into that area, and if we look left, we've got this little bit of support which can act as resistance. So you've got 2 points acting as resistance. So ideally we want to see the market push through that area and then come back and have a little bit of a correction before we get long. So that's going to be it from me tonight. We will be sending out another video tomorrow. If you do like this content, please hit a thumbs up. So let's give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe so that you get all the latest videos, and any information we put out, it comes straight to your inbox without having to follow it. So please do that. Hit the like, share and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow Nolan's going to be running the video, so you'll be getting more insights and some more cross pairs and what's hot and what's not. And on that note, have a fantastic evening. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good night, guys.